Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, Northwestern students and Evanston residents celebrate community and tradition for Dia de los Muertos.
Plus, a Northwestern-sponsored grant prioritizes community action for the environment.
And men's basketball is back in Welsh Ryan Arena. How students feel about the start of the season. All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Sophia Maidman.
And I'm Jonas Calderon-Blum. Federal immigration raids swept through the city on Friday. Homeland Security confirmed several arrests in Evanston and nearby Skokie, including some protesters. Near Chute Middle School, agents allegedly used pepper spray and force in arrest. Schools initiated safety protocols, and community members gathered the next day for a vigil, vowing to stand together and keep Evanston a safe and welcoming place for all. At that community vigil, Mayor Daniel Biss speaking and calling the actions horrendous crimes and said the city will be investigating.
As of today, the 2025 government shutdown is tied with the longest shutdown in history at 35 days. That was back in 2019 during President Trump's first term. We now go to Washington for an update from NNN's Kat Abughazaleh on the ongoing shutdown. Kat Abughazaleh, what's the latest?
Thanks, Sophia. Today marks 35 days of the government shutdown, and it looks like it will break the record for the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Tomorrow will be its 36th day, and it doesn't seem like there will be an end this week. Speaker Mike Johnson announced another district work period until November 9th, bringing the House to 7 weeks out of session. The shutdown is hinged on the Affordable Care Act tax credits, an issue that Democrats and Republicans are so far unwilling to budge on. Open enrollment for ACA began last weekend on November 1st. Without ACA subsidies, some are seeing their health insurance premiums spike to as much as 300%. The past weekend also saw the end of funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. The Trump administration said on Monday that it plans to use SNAP contingency funds to provide partial benefits for November. That's the latest here on the Hill. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kat Abughazaleh. We will keep you updated on the local impacts of the shutdown.
And a federal grand jury has indicted Democratic congressional candidate for Illinois 9, Kat Abughazaleh, and 5 others for allegedly blocking vehicles outside a federal immigration facility in Broadview, Illinois. Authorities say the group surrounded a government vehicle, damaging it and forcing a federal officer to drive slowly to avoid harming anyone. Abughazaleh faces felony conspiracy and misdemeanor assault charges. Her lawyer calls the case a political prosecution. We sat down with Abughazaleh earlier tonight, and here's what she said about the indictment.
This is very, very clearly a political prosecution. This is an attempt to criminalize our First Amendment rights, criminalize the act of protest, freedom of speech, freedom of association. I plan to plead not guilty, and I plan to win.
Illinois 9's primary is scheduled for March 17th, and our full interview with Kat Abughazaleh will be available on our Instagram later tonight.
A Northwestern-sponsored sustainability grant awarded 2 local groups with $2,500 each to support their environmental initiatives. NNN's Daniel Kent spoke to one of the winners.
The new Sustainable Communities Grant totaling $5,000 was awarded to Climate Action Evanston and Evanston Grows.
In this certain day and age where funding has been limited or restricted for different entities or stakeholders, the timing was not only perfect, but the time to do it and do it now.
The grant, funded by Northwestern and UL Research Institutes, seeks to build community while tackling environmental problems.
With this grant, it's not about just the funding, but it's also about community engagement. So we look at, it may be one entity who gets the grant money, but they may partner and just create community engagement. That's literally the purpose of what they're doing with their grant program.
The Litter League, a program started by Climate Action Evanston, brings competition to removing waste around the city.
We really want to create more pathways that high school students, middle school students, Northwestern students can get out into the community and take direct actions on the climate crisis.
Jordan says that money from the grant will go toward reflective vests and trash pickers, used to clean up garbage like this from Evanston's parks and green spaces. The grant comes as the city's Sustain Evanston grant faces steep budget cuts.
While the $2,500 that we're receiving will never be able to make up for the much larger amount of money that those businesses in Sustain Evanston will miss out on. What this allows us to do is pilot a way of getting community members organized that has not yet existed.
Nick says the grant has been doubled to a total of $10,000 for the next cycle. Building local connections and helping the environment. Daniel Kent, Northwestern News Network.
Climate Action Evanston's first Litter League event is November 22nd. Visit the website for more information. And coming up, Dia de los Muertos celebrations bring art, remembrance, and community to campus and Evanston.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
And welcome back. Students and community members across Evanston and Northwestern came together this past week to celebrate Dia de los Muertos, honoring tradition and loved ones.
Families gathered at the Robert Crown Library branch over the weekend to celebrate Day of the Dead. NNN's Linda Monteo Bartolone has more on the celebration.
With special food, stories, and multiple musical performances, Latinos in Evanston North Shore hosted the traditional Mexican Day of Remembrance for a diverse audience.
The Latino community needs to feel a sense of belonging, and we want to show the community how valuable we are.
Fabiola Sherbecki is the founder and president of Latinos in Evanston North Shore. The annual event included a performance by the Suzuki program, part of the Music Institute of Chicago.
Kids in our program, the Third Coast Suzuki Strings, are from the Hispanic community, so I think it's great because we can share music that they play with their communities.
Teacher and director Bianca de Avila de Prado said ICE activity has impacted participation.
We've been teaching some of those families online lessons because they have been a little bit scared to come in person.
Host Mayra Moreno said members of the Latino community have been less active at events.
We hosted a Know Your Rights presentation, renters' rights, and I was expecting like 50 people on that day minimum, but only 25 people ended up coming.
Sherbecki said this year's event wasn't measured by attendance, but by the community's determination to honor tradition.
We didn't want to cancel in spite of the events that happened yesterday, but we feel that we need to show a sense of normality and a sense of be proud of our culture and show to the community that we are here as a resilient community.
Keeping the spirit of Day of the Dead alive. Linda Montejo Bartolón, Northwestern News Network.
And as Evanston residents reflected on lost loved ones, Northwestern students found their own ways to participate in the day and its traditions right here on campus.
Last Wednesday, students gathered in community to celebrate Dia de los Muertos while away from their families. NNN's Uma Morris was at the event.
Hosted by Multicultural Student Affairs and Alianza, the campus Dia de los Muertos event included supplies for students to decorate their own nicho boxes, altars, and picture frames, as well as pan de muerto and hot chocolate.
We ran out of food, we ran out of materials, and that's always a really great thing.
Medill sophomore Samantha Esquivel is from Tamaulipas, Mexico. Before moving to college, she would get together with family to eat, sing, talk, clean, and make an ofrenda to celebrate. Esquivel says her first Dia de los Muertos at Northwestern was very different.
It's not the way I'm used to celebrating it, because part of the beauty of this holiday was celebrating it with my family and remembering those loved ones that passed away with them.
Esquivel decorated picture frames for photos of her loved ones who've passed.
This one for my dog Penny, and you can sort of see that it's a little dog theme. This one's for my grandparents. The roses are just for decoration, but I did make sure to put a cross because they were very Catholic. And this one's for my aunt.
Guzman enjoyed learning about who students were honoring with their nicho boxes and altars.
At least for me especially, I feel like it was important to be able to share in that with community members and to let them know that there's space for them and that there's always room for grief and memory and loss and love.
And you students finding new ways to celebrate cherished traditions. Uma Morris, Northwestern News Network.
And for some, the celebration continued through music, with Mariachi NU hosting a special Dia de los Muertos performance.
NNN's Miguel Sang has more on how Northwestern students observed Dia de los Muertos themselves.
Sunday's second annual Dia de los Muertos celebration, organized by Mariachi NU, is bringing together the Northwestern community.
We can get to know each other. I mean, when doing this event, I learned about the existence of a lot of organizations that I didn't know, and I was like, sure, and let's invite them.
At the heart of the event and the holiday isn't just honoring the dead, but celebrating their lives.
Because some of the loved ones there are from Northwestern, like Brittany Perez, that passed away last year. I'm pretty sure Brittany is like right there, like screaming the loudest and dancing. So.
Many students who haven't celebrated before appreciate the holiday's focus on reflection.
Really seeing what's it called? This like makeshift like ofrenda, right? Of like all of like the photos together. I think it's like really beautiful, and it even like reminded me about like my like grandparents who've like passed on lately. And
I have not celebrated Dia de los Muertos, especially my family, but I think the most striking thing is how like cultural, like diverse it is. Everybody obviously celebrates it a different way, but it just brings people together. Obviously, like celebrating like deceased people and like, you know, bringing them back here.
With an increase in ICE presence in Evanston, Dia de los Muertos hits harder now more than ever for many.
I think this event, aside from bringing visibility to the community, it brings unity. You see everyone laughing and celebrating together, helping each other out. And I think that is why it's important, because we realize that we should not be afraid to live who we are in our identity.
Miguel Sang, Northwestern News Network.
From Evanston's community altars to campus celebrations, Dia de los Muertos continues to unite generations, remembering those who came before. And up next, we explore the rare and archival treasures of Deering Library.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, go!
Welcome back. The city of Evanston is making moves to go green. NNN's Chelsea Robinson went to the Evanston Ecology Center to learn more about their newest sustainable improvements.
The smell of warm wood smoke welcomed residents to the Evanston Ecology Center Wednesday afternoon for its grand reopening. After closing its doors for renovations back in April 2024, residents at the ribbon-cutting ceremony heard from city officials before stepping back into the center for the first time in over a year.
I am a fourth-generation Evanstonian, born and raised here. This used to be, as a child, something I came to all the time. So we are just happy for our community to see this reopen and be another resource for families.
New front desks in the entryway, new classroom space, an ADA and visually accessible multi-purpose room. The renovations work to make a more inclusive and sustainable ecology center.
I'm really grateful because I'm supportive of all of the city's green initiatives, and the Ecology Center has been front and center on that.
For lead programmer Rafael Salinas, the goal is to share the message of coexistence, that the line between urban and rural spaces doesn't need to exist, a mission that continued even through the renovations.
Yeah, it was fully under renovation. We had to operate out of different community centers and use different spaces, which was very helpful because we got to find all the other spaces that Evanston has to offer where the Ecology Center can work out of, and I think this actually turned out to be a really great, healthy thing.
With its LEED Gold certification, the Ecology Center stands as a symbol of the city's commitment to sustainability. I'm Chelsea Robinson, Northwestern News Network.
The Evanston Ecology Center is open for programming and events Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m.
After their community fridge shut down during the July heat, Soul and Smoke has officially revamped their setup to continue providing food for families. NNN's Roxa Jayakumar spoke to the co-founders about their goals and mission.
We're here in the 5th Ward in Evanston at one of Soul and Smoke's locations. This barbecue restaurant has recently reopened their community fridge, an initiative to help feed their neighbors with the help of local businesses and residents.
The pandemic was just starting, the Evanston schools were closing, and there was a big conversation about who's going to feed the students. And we weren't in a place where we wanted to furlough our team, and so we made it our mission not to. And we said that we have the team and we have the food, we could feed the Evanston school kids.
With the backing of the Evanston Community Foundation, Soul and Smoke began making 200 meals per day for the school kids. By the end of the pandemic, they had made about 250,000 meals for their neighbors in need.
Once the pandemic started to die down, we wanted to continuing to help people. So that's when we came up with the idea to start hosting a community fridge so people can have access to food, any time of the day or night.
The fridge shut down over the summer after facing temperature issues, but it officially reopened in October. The fridge works on a take-what-you-need, leave-what-you-can basis and is open 24/7. Its contents range from fully prepared meals to groceries and other basic needs items.
We're in the heart of the 5th Ward here. This is historically the Red Line neighborhood, a neighborhood that suffers from disinvestment.
Along with Soul and Smoke, restaurants across the Chicago area help keep the fridge stocked. Local residents participate as well, buying whatever groceries they can to support their neighbors.
There's a lot of issues in our neighborhood, I'm sure you guys are aware right now, so just trying to make a difference wherever we can, and this seems like an easy way to do it.
Soul and Smoke co-founders encourage locals to donate as the holiday season approaches. They plan to create a list where families in need can sign up to receive a Thanksgiving meal without worrying if the fridge will have enough. Raksha Jayakumar, Northwestern News Network.
The community fridge also accepts financial donations to stock their fridge on their website.
Well, daylight savings time came to an end this weekend, and with darker afternoons, we're getting some colder temperatures. Marcela Cano is in for Chief Meteorologist Emmanuel Perez Martinez tonight. Marcela, what does this forecast look like?
Jonas, currently we're sitting at a temperature of 54 degrees with the moon peeking through a few clouds. For the rest of the night, winds will pick up a bit, but warmer air moving in will keep our temperatures from dropping too much, so we'll stay in the lower 50s throughout the rest of the night. Looking at our temperatures across the area, here in Evanston, we're at 52 degrees, down in Chicago 54, and then similarly across the board, Aurora at 54 and Schaumburg at 53. And we're seeing some clouds drifting through the north, and as that warmer air moves through, it will keep temperatures steady through the evening. Here's a look at your 5-day forecast. Wednesday, we have a high of 57 degrees with clear skies and a wind breeze of 17 miles per hour. Thursday is looking cloudy, 55 degrees with some wind picking up in the late evening. Friday, we're starting off with morning showers, partly cloudy skies, and a high of 61. Saturday staying cloudy with a high of 48, and keep an eye out for possible showers in the late evening going into early Sunday morning, bringing wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour. And we're also looking at a chance of inland snow away from the lake, but that will depend on how temperatures look.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the cold or the snow. Sophia?
For nearly 100 years, Deering Library has stood as one of Northwestern's most iconic buildings. Closed last year for renovations, Deering is back open to the community, celebrating its return with a two-part exhibit called Treasures of Deering. Director of the Charles Deering McCormick Library of Special Collections and University Archives, Clara Drummond, says the goal is to connect students and visitors with Northwestern's deep and diverse history.
We are the primary rare, archival, unique collections of the university are housed within McCormick, and it's a way to remind people, because our materials are fundamentally different. They're not just on a shelf that you can just pull off for various reasons, because they're valuable in all sorts of ways. And again, we're thinking about preserving them for the next generation of Northwestern students. So you can't take them home with you, right, in the way that you can take other books.
The exhibit showcases rare items, from centuries-old manuscripts and early print editions to personal letters that shaped Northwestern's past. Clara says Treasures of Deering is more than an exhibit. It's a reminder that the university's history continues to shape its future.
So I really hope it makes people stop and think and just be curious, right, in learning more about what is available for Northwestern students, because I think it's easy, you assume that everything is online, and many things are online, but not everything is online. We're here, we want you to access our collections, we're going to support you through the process, and you should take advantage if you can. For many people who discover archival research for the first time, it's really transformative, and we always say that we have whatever your major or minor is at Northwestern, there is something in the McCormick Library of Special Collections and University Archives that's connected to your field.
Part 1 of Treasures of Deering is now on display in the lobby of Deering Library, and Part 2 will include a different selection of items on display in Winter Quarter. Up next, student shares their thoughts on Northwestern men's basketball as season play begins.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Course registration started this week, and finding a fun history course to take in winter quarter is as easy as cake. Cakes and Classes, a history department favorite, welcomed a rush of undergraduates across all majors to learn more about history courses available winter quarter. Harris Hall was lined with custom cakes from Benison's Bakery, all covered with images that correspond to each professor's course, ranging from comparative fascism to Tudor and Stuart Britain. It's an event that treats students to free sugar while boosting interest in history courses.
It's a super popular event. It is definitely one of the most popular events the history department puts on, and I would say we get at least 100 undergraduates that come through.
If you missed it, don't worry, because Cakes and Classes will be back again at the end of winter quarter in preparation for spring classes.
And it's time for sports. Northwestern men's basketball team played its first game of the 2026 season on Monday, beating Mercyhurst with a strong performance, 70-47. The season is officially underway, and NNN's Ryan Weisblum gives us a fast breakdown of how students are feeling about the team.
It's officially November here at Northwestern, meaning basketball season is upon us. Many students eagerly anticipating the start of the season and the chance to pack Welsh Ryan Arena for the first time this year. I caught up with some Wildcats basketball fans to hear their thoughts on the new season.
I'm just really excited to see the school spirit, and especially to be indoors because it's going to be so cold. But I feel like seeing everybody, go and show their school spirit, I feel like that'll be really fun and it'll have a good energy.
Returning students recalling fond memories of packing the arena last season.
My favorite part is probably going with my friends. The student section is the best part to sit in when you're watching the basketball games.
The Wildcats recently lost star player Brooks Barnhizer to the NBA, but fans remaining optimistic that the team will perform well in his absence.
OKC Thunder now, he's in the big leagues, but I think we have enough with Martinelli. We picked up a couple 4-stars over the summer, so I'm optimistic.
A lot of excitement buzzing around one particular player.
It's fun to watch Nick Martinelli play, and it's also interesting because sometimes you'll be walking around campus and just see the basketball players, so it's fun to watch them once they actually get on the court.
Wildcats fans holding high praise for the sport of basketball and the atmosphere at Welsh Ryan Arena.
I just love basketball as a sport. I also I think our arena is perfectly sized for Northwestern. You can really see every part of the game, so it's just you're going to watch quality basketball in a quality venue, so there's nothing to not like.
It seems like everyone is excited to get that game atmosphere again and see how the team does this season. Ryan Weisblum, Northwestern News Network.
Go Cats!
Go Cats!
Go Cats!
And tickets are now available for students for the next 2 games, which is Friday evening against Boston University and Monday night against the Vikings of Cleveland State. So, Sophia, I know there's only been 1 game so far, but have you gone to anything so far? Did you go to the exhibition games maybe?
I didn't go last week, but I'm going next week to the Cleveland State game, and I'm very excited. What about you?
Yeah, so I'm going to the Cleveland State game as well. I also went to the Illinois State exhibition game, which was really cool because they honored the coach's dad there. And that's just about all the time we have for tonight on the last regular Northwestern News Report of the quarter.
We'll be back in 2 weeks for our special show, NU Up Close, highlighting students on campus. Until then, I'm Sophia Maidman.
And I'm Jonas Calderon Blum from all of us here at the Northwestern News Network. Good night.